Talofa lava malole soifua. My name is Beth Sheba Tofila from Cluster 12. It's my great pleasure today to introduce our guest speaker, Teresa Otineru, who is the Commercial Director for Microsoft Australia and New Zealand. Teresa Tess originally hails from Invercargill, daughter of Malo Usafongo from the village of Nufuali'i from the village of Nufuali'i, and daughter of Denise Leota, originally from Invercargill. Tess is a chartered accountant by profession and has held multiple financial and commercial roles across New Zealand and Asia since joining Microsoft 7 years ago. Tess is also most recently the Global Co-Chair of Indigenous EGR at Microsoft. So it's my great pleasure to introduce to you Teresa Otineru, who's also known as my little sister. Thank you, Tess. Over to you.
Well, talofa lava, malo, lelei, Bolivinaka, whakalofa lahi atu, kia ora ana, kia ora, hello. E momo atu whaatalofa atu, I le peia malumalu unenei aso, whaatalofa atu foi, Brian, Ben, Bathsheba, male RTLB, New Zealand nei, o lo ingo Teresa Otineru, po Tess, o au, o le tamaita I Samoa, sao whanau I Invercargill, o lo o tama o usfono malo au whaatasi, e sau mali awhioanga o Nufuali'i, lo o tina o Denise e sau mai Invercargill. Huge thank you, Bathsheba, for the warm introduction, and I'd just like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the various lands in which anyone may be joining us from today. Particularly, I'm joining us from Auckland, so acknowledge the specific area of Ngāti Whātua Kiorake and the 19 mana whenua of Auckland, and I pay my respects to their kaumātua, past, present and emerging, and all First Nations and Indigenous people around the world and their ancestral lands. Look, it's an incredible pleasure to be with you all today, and thank you, Bathsheba, who is my elder sister, much elder. I want to say much elder. So I guess the one thing I want to just acknowledge first and foremost is she is my go-to for all things work and personal. So she gets all my questions and she offers incredible advice. So I just want to say thank you so much for all your advice across the years. So today I wanted just to talk about 4 things. I wanted to I'll just share my personal story. I then wanted to share a little bit around what we're doing at Microsoft in the Indigenous space, and I'm keen to get input and perspectives from this audience. What I will say is that we are very much on a learning journey ourselves. And then I was going to touch on a little bit about AI. I know that you've just had an incredible speaker going deep in terms of what's available in terms of lesson planning for teachers, and just wanted to touch a little bit more on that from a Microsoft perspective, and then end with a little bit around Minecraft. So a little bit about myself. Professionally, as Bathsheba mentioned, I'm a chartered accountant by profession. At the moment at Microsoft, I'm the commercial director across Australia and New Zealand. And essentially the business I take care of is commercially around $3.7 billion of revenue a year, which means myself and my team are responsible for negotiating with our largest customers across Australia and New Zealand, commercial constructs on behalf of Microsoft. So it's an incredible privilege, and probably one that I wasn't expecting that I would be involved in when I first initially studied at university, but I guess I'm incredibly privileged to have the role that I have today. As well as that, I'm the Global ERG Indigenous Co-Chair for Microsoft, so leading our strategy across Microsoft in terms of reconciliation, language, policy, implementation, and previously I co-led the New Zealand, Māori and Pacifica pillar in the same context, so now just taking that on a global stage. But I just wanted to take you back a step in terms of my journey so far. You can see I was born in Invercargill. We talk about that a lot. It's actually a really small place, and but it was an incredible place to grow up and I guess learn from. A small community, a very small Pacific community, and even smaller Samoan community. Privileged to have 3 older sisters and a younger brother. We moved to Auckland, went to Wesley College, which was incredible, just the diversity of students. I moved to Samoa after high school and spent a year as a reporter. I represented Samoa as a youth participant at the Sydney Olympics. came back to New Zealand after my father told me that I needed to get an education, studied accounting and information systems at the University of Auckland, graduated with a diploma in business at AUT, got my chartered accountancy, moved overseas to Europe, UK, France, and Spain with my now husband, who was my partner at the time, or boyfriend at the time. Then we came back and I started my accounting career at smaller accounting firms because I actually didn't know I didn't actually know who the big players were at that point in time, and then worked my way up to Deloitte and now Microsoft. So a little bit about me, and then these are just some pictures of my family, and you can see Bathsheba in the bottom left corner, some pictures of our childhood. And then I just wanted to share my why. This is a couple of years ago, 2021, our father actually passed, unfortunately. And when we were going through his documentation, and it was a bit of old school, he had that briefcase with the, with the passwords on the front, and once we managed to unlock it, we found this little piece of paper which talked about our responsibility. My sister Susanna and myself specifically called out because she's the lawyer and I'm the accountant, and making sure that we help and support our families. And I always think of that as not just our immediate family, but also our wider community as well. So that is my why in terms of the passion that I bring to bridge the gap between Microsoft and the Pacific community, our Indigenous communities. So really privileged to have that space. These are some pictures of Microsoft just bringing, we had a Samoan Ava ceremony once it became the Global Indigenous Co-Lead. So some pictures of that, and some pictures of us in Nowhaile'i when a couple of our cousins and my brother got their title of Fono, and also when we got our malu last year as well, my husband with his bear. So just sharing, and this is our father. So he was obviously born and raised in Nowhaile'i and came to New Zealand in the late 70s. And he was an avid runner. He would run quite a bit. So we would always be following him around the South Island and all the marathons that he'd be running to. And in the South Island also there's lots of farming. So he would spend a lot of time on the farm, and we had a small 5-acre farm at that point as well. And then just some more photos of my family. So as you can see, we're deeply engaged and immersed in our family. So just a bit of background about me personally. Then just moving on, I just wanted to share a couple of things that we do at Microsoft. So I talked about my role, my day job. I'm the commercial director across Australia and New Zealand, and that's the job they pay me for. And then the job that I do on top is the Global Indigenous Chair. But I really tailored this sharing to what we do in New Zealand because I thought it was more relevant, and how we think about how we can bring a diverse perspective and leverage the brand and the accessibility of technology into the community. We look at it in 5 different ways. So how do we celebrate community? How do we continue to build skills and opportunity through the digital divide and employment opportunities? We think about how we can leverage the brand of Microsoft around a sustainable future and what solutions we can bring to the forefront from a technology standpoint. We think about businesses, particularly Māori and Pacific-led businesses and startups. And we think about our employees, how we can build culture, learning and allyship across the board. So just a couple of stories on each of those sort of headings, and I'll just actually, let me see. So this one is one we've done in the community, and if I can, let me just try and pull this up. So actually, maybe I'll explain it first. We have Minecraft at Microsoft, and what we always try to do is think about how we can build a world that represents the community that we are in. And we very much have done that through Te Reo Te Ao Māori, and later on in this presentation I'll be sharing some of that story. But as part of a Samoan point of view, what we look to do is how do we create Samoan terminology that may not exist in our language to date. And so we worked with the Samoan language community and various different organisations around bilingual Samoan community to think about and build 30 new words in the Samoan language for technology. And I just wanted to share a little video on that now. So let me just bring that up.
The cloud, making the cloud not just your cloud that you see, but making it our tawhailangi, so there's reference to that. The hotspot, when we took it back for feedback, there was, we try to make it explain what it is, what it'll look like in a Samoan context, and yet still try and maintain the word hotspot. And we couldn't make that literal, simply because, it wouldn't make sense. So, that's another term. We're trying to move away from the borrowed terms and the coined terms, or what we call upunono, simply out of the fact that to enrich our language and to tell our young that, we do have original terms. It's just about a matter of us taking time just to think of it and contextualizing it in Samoan. Because if it's just a transliteration, it still feels non-Samoan, still feels English, but making it our own originates it and, puts a lot of emphasis to our Samoan, because that our language and our vocab is rich.
So that was really interesting to watch the translators, experts, actually go through the journey of thinking around not just transliteration of Samoan terms, but actually thinking about the meaning behind them. So thinking about the meaning behind the words, and I had to get some experts in to sort of break down the terminology in a technical sense and bring the true meaning so we could translate those words. So that's just an example of what we've done in that space. And then thinking about the digital skills and opportunity, at Microsoft, we have an extensive amount of skills in what we call micro-credentials. So you can go on today, and I'm happy to share resources after this presentation of the extensive amount of pathways that we can build. And they can either be technology pathways, deep technical pathways, or you can think about what is the end job that you want and sort of work a pathway up to that role. But you could actually probably spend 10 years worth of just straight skilling at Microsoft. That's the amount of content that we have available. And so I'm happy to share those resources afterwards. But
Thanks, Tess.
Yeah. What we do realize is that because there's so much content, it can be incredibly overwhelming. And so what we have done is think about how we can really bridge a gap between breaking down the content itself and wrap around some support. So we've got what we've called a 10K Woman initiative, which was catered for all women across Aotearoa. And actually we fulfilled the target of upskilling 10,000 women, and now the target's been increased to 100,000. But thinking about how we bridge the gap in terms of micro-credentialing, being really clear on the pathways for skilling and what the ultimate goal is, and then breaking down some of the concepts that we see in the micro-credentials and delivering those to an audience that will really, really resonate to. So that's one initiative that we've got, and skilling is a huge priority for us in terms of the evolution of what's happening in the space of technology, and it's definitely something we want to continue to think about how we bridge the gap for all communities and all ages as well. Next example I've got is around sustainable futures, and so let me see, this is particular to the Pacific, and so let me see if I can play this video in terms of what we're doing around sustainability.
Warm waters, soft sand, swaying palm trees. For vacationers, the tiny islands of the vast Pacific can seem like paradise. But big environmental challenges lie behind this picture postcard image. Plastic trash and other pollution are choking once pristine seas. Climate change is whipping up extreme weather. Dangerous hurricanes and devastating storm surges are eroding coastlines. Some low-lying atolls could disappear as sea levels rise. And there are also threats from volcanoes, earthquakes, and tsunamis. The people of the Pacific are worried and want action. But to find viable solutions, their governments need data and insights. They've turned to the Pacific community, which represents over 20 island countries and territories of the Pacific. Researchers there have a new data and analytics platform called Digital Earth Pacific. Built on Microsoft's planetary computer, it will use immense processing power in the cloud to access, analyze, and model masses of environmental data collected by scientists and satellites. With data-driven insights, governments can better protect the environment and prepare for natural disasters to help secure a sustainable future for island people and the Earth.
So that's what we have looked to do to support the Pacific. Look, I will be transparent in saying that we have made available the platform in terms of accessing and utilizing the platform. It's still a work in progress, but we're trying to leverage technology as much as possible at a high level to support the region in terms of just the climate change that we're seeing in the region, which is, I guess, top of mind for all of us. Yeah. Next example that I just wanted to share with you is just around Te Tumu Paeroa. It's the Office of the Māori Trustee, and them, I guess, thinking about how they support the administration of the land rights for New Zealand, and there's over 100,000 landowners. And so thinking through data sovereignty, Māori sovereignty, and the framework that underpins that so that they can have confidence in terms of they're safeguarding the mana whenua, the sacredness and the spiritual access of their lands. And so making sure that they have that data in a secure environment. And so part of the partnership with them was building that framework to allow them the possibility to have that confidence. Yeah. And then moving on, I guess just some, thinking about how we support our employees, ensure that they've got access to enable the communities that we live and work in, and thinking about how we can continue to grow the tech sector, which is only 2%, whereas the population of Māori Pacifica, 25% Māori Pacific, and the tech sector around 2%, and always thinking about how we can increase that over time. So that's a little bit about what we've done at Microsoft, and I do want to just really articulate that we are very much growing in this space in terms of what we do in an Indigenous landscape. We have limited resources in terms of people allocated in this area, and we're always on a learning journey. So if there's any opportunity that you'd like to consider, for us to consider, please feel free to reach out. We're still learning and growing and thinking about how we can leverage what we have available to us for greater context. I just wanted to touch on the next topic, which is artificial intelligence. And I know that you've had somebody speak today and give some incredible examples. Okay, so I wanted to start off with a bit of a video in terms of how we've used AI for our Indigenous communities. Let me just...
Hey everybody, Trevor Noah here, and today I'm coming to you from Sydney, Australia, where I'm going to be having a fascinating conversation with Dr. Al-Rahim Habib, the lead at Drumbeat AI. This is an organization that aims to revolutionize the treatment of ear disease in Indigenous communities. Children in Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities have the highest rates of ear disease in the world. And if this is left untreated, it can lead to hearing loss that is permanent and language impairment, which affects them for the rest of their lives. So the question for us today is, how can we use AI to predict, identify, and even treat ear diseases, specifically in communities that are both rural and remote? This is fun, man. Being with you in Sydney, Australia, you know, having a conversation that really, I think, experiences some of its most groundbreaking work here, but is going to impact the world. There are children around the world struggling to live full lives because they don't have their hearing when that could have been prevented. Why is this?
In Australia, we have anywhere from 20 to 80% of Indigenous kids have ear disease. And it's sad because there's a domino effect. If hearing gets impacted early on, it has an impact on your school performance, your future employment opportunities. And that's why we're so focused on trying to get involved early to hopefully prevent ear disease becoming hearing loss. If we can look in more ears and empower people to look in ears and have an AI-supported tool that helps them understand what they're seeing, we're off on the right foot. Because now we can diagnose things much earlier, get involved early in their lives to hopefully prevent ear disease becoming hearing loss.
It seems like it's all just about getting a child in front of a doctor. So why is something so simple so difficult to prevent?
The challenge is that not all ears are the same. And so as a medical doctor, you take time building that pattern recognition in your mind. But someone who is in a rural community doesn't get that same chance. Some of these people have to transfer all the way over to a tertiary center.
So in Australia, you have an Aboriginal population out here where the communities may live where they don't have the specialists and they may not have access to the medical facilities. How do you then bridge the gap?
What we can then do is enable them, get them to the next level. Say, well, what if a specialist caliber assessment was mixed with that ear camera? Well, then you can still get that same assessment capacity as you get in urban Sydney. For people to stay home, to be able to live in their community which can service them, that's empowerment. That's what we want to see.
And I want to see some of the work that you're doing.
Let's do it.
All right.
This is a photo of the ear. Tell me what you think.
Looks healthy, a little bit of wax, that's always good.
Yeah. You know, what about this? You're seeing something else.
Oh, yeah,
here.
there shouldn't be bubbles. I don't think there should be bubbles in anybody's ear.
What about something like this?
Oh, that doesn't seem good.
Do you know where the eardrum is?
No, there is no eardrum.
And so this is chronic suppurative otitis media, and that's when you start getting more long-term issues with hearing. We've created a tool called Drumbeat AI that has learned over 10,000 images, over 4,000 kids in over 100 different Indigenous communities. And we've been able to train the model to interpret that photo. You see this child come in, and you think, I could use a bit of help. But that might take hours, days, maybe even weeks to get an answer. What if you can get an answer now? Like, what if AI could help you understand what's going on in that ear now?
Okay.
And so now we can press the button here, and instantly we can get an abnormal eardrum that's perforated, that's likely chronic otitis media with discharge absent. It's making a prediction, and that's really important because then you can decide, do I need treatment? Do I not? Can I flag this child to see back again in the next, couple weeks to see if that hole is healed? And if it's not, you can get another prediction and then make a plan to escalate that to a referral to a GP or even to an ENT. So this is one of our ear cameras.
Okay.
And we have a look, and that's the eardrum. And you can snap a photo.
And that's it?
That's it. That's my eardrum. Let's have a look. Let's analyze it. Normal ear.
Were you nervous for a second?
I was.
You never know. Just now you get like a bad reading and then... This is phenomenal. You just took the picture, got the diagnosis immediately, and you've blown my mind. I need this in all of my doctor's visits now. I'm going to tell my doctor, this is taking far too long. It should be 5 seconds, take a picture.
Ready to roll.
And I'm ready to roll.
Ready to roll.
Thank you again. This is amazing.
So I wanted to share that high-level idea because what it shares is AI is used for a lot of things, and it's growing the space in terms of where we are with AI. I think we're only on the cusp of where it potentially can support innovation, growth, impact. And so that's just one example from a health standpoint in terms of how we've thought about AI. But I wanted to go back a couple of steps and share sort of the journey that AI has been on. We used to call AI generative AI, and we've really moved to what we now call agentic AI. And so just to define those terms, generative AI looks at or talks about learned patterns in existing data, where agentic AI thinks about, hey, what is the outcome that I'm looking for, and how can I build a system or agents to reason across that data and independently think about the outcome that I'm looking to achieve. So it's quite a rapid change, and that rapid change has really happened over the last 12 to 24 months. So you can see here, and I've tried to simplify it, but you've got the API where we would exchange data between two connecting points. Then we've moved to chatbot, and chatbot is what was shared in the previous presentation, where it's thinking about scanning data and coming back with an answer based on that data. Where we're really moving to is what we call now agents. Agents is the new sort of, if you thought chat box was huge, agents is going to be instrumental. It's agents going out with a defined different outcome in mind, and actually building out the outcome based on the data. And you think about the future of the workplace, we're probably going to be thinking about people being managers of agents as opposed to managers of people in the future. And then you've got a multi-agentic system, which is where you've got multiple agents running dependently across multiple different data sources. So I just wanted to share that because the revolution of chatbot was huge, but there's more to come, and it's going to be even bigger than we probably even can conceptualize at this very point in time. And so this is just another way to look at the same, I guess, concept of thinking about where we've gone to is, the rules-based to retrieving knowledge, which is Copilot or ChatGPT, AI helping with work, AI does the work, and then AI runs the processes, agentic AI. So if you think about that, it's quite a revolution. And what I wanted to also call out is, in the past presentation, there was a lot of discussion around ChatGPT. Our version of Microsoft is called Copilot. I guess everybody's open to utilising the platform as relevant for them. But I do know across New Zealand, every teacher has the accessibility to our Microsoft products. And within our Microsoft products, we have Copilot built in. So I just wanted to make everybody aware that today, I know that some schools are Google, some schools are Microsoft, and it's purely your choice, but you absolutely have the opportunity to leverage Copilot as part of the stack. So that's already built in, and you've got access to that as well. So when we think about it from a business transformation standpoint, and I've sort of seeded the concept of agents, and I just wanted to touch on that a little bit more. So I've got one other short video.
Microsoft 365 Copilot and agents will transform work and business process, helping you scale your impact like never before. Let's break it down. Copilot is your personal AI assistant. It knows you and your work. And think of agents as the new apps for an AI-powered world. They will automate every business process. Agents are created in Copilot Studio, a low-code tool for creating, managing, and connecting agents to Copilot or building your own. Soon, every organization will have a constellation of agents. And Copilot is how you'll interact with all these agents right in the flow of your work. It's the UI for AI. And if an agent needs clarification, it checks with you for direction. Agents will do everything from accelerating lead generation and processing sales orders to automating your supply chain so you can optimize costs and grow revenue. The Copilot control system helps IT professionals confidently manage Copilot and agents securely. With Copilot and agents, you're in control, not just working with AI, but having AI work for you. Get started today and unlock the full power of AI with Copilot and agents.
I appreciate now I'm moving to a more of a business sense, and this audience is education based, but how we think of it from a business sense is what we're seeing is for every dollar a company invests in AI, the return is 3.7 back. And then we look at it from 4 different ways in terms of how a business can transform. And I'm sharing this because I'm thinking about it in the context of if we're gearing up our children for what the future may look like and the job opportunities, what they may look like. Something like this in terms of how the business world will transform will be key in thinking about how we ensure that our children are set up for the future.
Yes, I got to
So just
Sorry, Tess, I got a quick question from someone. Nicola asked, sorry, we're asking questions in real time because I think this is important. What's the difference between a bot and an agent? If you can answer that question.
Yeah. Very simply, in layman's terms, a bot will scan the information. So for example, you might have a researcher in a manufacturing plant, and they may have, I've got this real live example with a customer. They have researchers that are maybe in their 70s, they've had like institutional knowledge for like 40 years, and they've got all this data inside their head and knowledge inside their head. If you have a bot, what it will do is it will scan, and you make sure you set up the governance correctly so that the data is just ring-fenced to their organization. It will scan the data within the organization, the emails, the research documents, and you can ask it a question like ChatGPT or Copilot, and it will come back with an answer based on the information that it receives or has scanned. So it's scanning that information. Whereas an agent will be able to, you might say to it, or can you go into our, this is a very sales operated function, but can you go into our organization and create a sales opportunity for this customer at this rate? So it will actually take actions and implement those actions on your behalf. You'll have to put reasoning around it, but it'll actually process some of the actual insights for you. So if you give it a criteria, it'll take the action on your behalf. Have I answered that?
Yeah, no, that's fine, Tess. There's one more question from Greg, and he says that he had an issue with using Copilot with a group of high school students at a Microsoft school. So this was a Microsoft school. It was told, he was told that it was age restricted in New Zealand. Is this true, or could this be a school problem?
There are lots of different security criteria that you can put across different platforms. So I guess my question would be just making sure that those criteria are implemented and the safeguards are there. So it's about setting that criteria up. Yeah.
Would that be on the school side? On the side of, would that be, or is it just in general? Sorry. When you're setting up the criteria, the school side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Setting up the criteria. Yeah. Great question though.
Thank you.
So when we think about the future of the business world, we think about it in full context, how we evolve the employee experience. And the example that we've got is our own employees at Microsoft. When we think about their usability of the technology that we've got ourselves, we've seen them create what we call 23% faster close rates, 9% more revenue per head, just based on purely using our technology. And so you multiply that by 65,000 employees globally across a $200 billion business for Microsoft. It's been huge. It's been quite a game changer for us. When we think about customer engagements, we think about from our own standpoint, business processes. We've got a lot of I guess after our call centers, and a lot of the time we get a request, maybe it's an Xbox request, or this technology is not working as it's intended. Now our teams can actually research within our databases to find the quickest, most simplest response to that. It can learn, it can share that back and create value to our customers in real time. We're reshaping business processes also by thinking about our own internal processes themselves. And last year alone, we saved $500 million. I know these are big numbers and it's probably out of context, but our own business has been able to utilize AI in a way that's really reshaped our own business processes. And we're looking to do that again this afternoon. I'm actually going to a meeting to think about how I can have 3 more agents within my own processes to think about how we can expand on and reshape our own business processes. And then the last one is just around innovation. Now, a third of our code is actually written through AI. So we have coders, but we also have AI writing code for us, agents. And in the last year alone, Microsoft was able to actually drive more products than we have over the last 3 years just by leveraging AI to write code on our behalf. So you can see our world internally is changing rapidly, and on the back of that, our customers are changing rapidly on the back of that as well. So when we think about AI now, it's not just Copilot or ChatGPT, it's also agents. So you would go into the platform and the user interface would be Copilot, but behind it, you've got the functionality of like ChatGPT within it, but you've also got the functionality of multiple agents. And as I said before, when you think about the workplace in the future, it's thinking about how do they leverage agents, reasoning across the data source, process, and be able to build that back. Yeah, so every employee will have a co-pilot and every process will be transformed by agents. It's quite a big, bold statement, but that's the world that we're heading to. Yeah.
Yep, totally.
So I'll just move forward. There was a couple of early in the year, we turned 50 as an organization, Microsoft did. And on the back of that, there was research that came out just around thinking and learning. And I thought I'd just share a couple of the slides from that presentation. And what it talks about is how we think and how we learn and the impact of AI on the tools and that we use. And so what this essentially says is that, you know, as adults, as we think about learning, we've already built a skill set around how we cognitively think, and what we are aware of is as our young children come up, building those skills are going to be really important to think about how they reason over a process or over skill sets. And so just making sure that we build those cognitive skills in the right way, otherwise it can erode that cognitive thinking. Yeah. So critical thinking, it talks about education and research around education and research and how we can support critical thinking using AI as opposed to just letting AI sort of reduce the amount of critical thinking that happens. And so it talks about the questioning around the user's intent and highlighting limitations and biases and around AI, and just making sure that our users have really thought about critical thinking as they approach AI itself. Yeah. And so I'll just sort of touch on this. It talks about, you know, retention and engagement and making sure that as students use AI and chatbot, they're using it as a tool to aid and not using it just traditionally on its own. Yeah, so this sort of touches on the key topic that I talked about before, is learning a skill may require AI that engages more cognitive effort than AI for those who already have the skills. So thinking about, you know, an adult that's already worked through and developed skills around critical thinking, and those who yet to build that sort of skill set and thinking through how to use AI in the right way so they continue to build that critical thinking along the way. Yeah. So I guess the question I probably pose with the research to back is just thinking about how AI will support the critical thinking of our students moving forward, and thinking through how you can use AI as a tool as opposed to it impeding that critical thinking. Awesome. So the last topic I had just before I had some resources was just around Minecraft. So I do have this video, and I'm conscious that we're sort of at time, so I'm happy to put the link in the chat, or I'm happy to play it. It's a little bit long.
So we're gonna take it into set to game mode to creator, so then you can choose a book, which is a series.
So we're gonna be kind of creating different mobs.
We're gonna basically recreate those dragons.
Aotearoa is New Zealand, and Aotearoa is where our Māori culture resides. All Indigenous cultures are wrapped up with many facets, and all of those things together are what make that Indigenous culture what it is. Te Reo Māori is a national language of New Zealand, along with sign language and English, and it's usually the starting point for a lot of people when learning about Te Ao Māori. My hometown, we were raised very much in Te Ao Māori. We had quite a bush upbringing, I suppose. It was more of an immersive experience. These things are just sort of things you know, and there's no real import to them. And then I had kids, and I realised I needed to sort of transmit some of this information, some of this cultural knowledge I had.
Are you guys excited for today?
The very first time we played Minecraft, I guess that was the first sort of inkling of the idea that games could be a good space for learning.
So does everyone know what mobs are?
The opportunity we saw was to create another immersive world. Only this time it wasn't the Minecraftian universe, it was the Māori universe.
We use the New Zealand curriculum. It's based primarily on the concept of building learning power and the principles around the Treaty of Waitangi. It makes us a little bit different from the rest of the world. It empowers our Māori students because it recognises the unique place of Te Ao Māori here in New Zealand. And as Kiwis, here at Newlands, we take that really, really seriously.
Our parent community has been really supportive of their kids learning in this way, and they understand and see the fact that collaboration and negotiation are an important part of life.
I didn't fully realise what the kids are capable of doing, how much learning they could do, and where it could actually lead to as well. You know, this is only the start of many opportunities and avenues for the kids in the future.
Really just unleash your creativity and your imagination.
In my class, their focus is, can you create your own knowledge? Can you make your own plan and see it through? And can you get yourself unstuck?
This is our world. There's a couple of things you might notice straight off the bat.
Seeing teachers see their students get inspired and then them getting inspired by something like a computer game, that's pretty cool.
Check that you've got that comma down there, right?
We had to do a mashup, so we put two worlds together. Like, we could take something from the real world and put it into Minecraft, or take something from Minecraft and put it into the real world.
My group made a working cinema. We even managed to make an underground system of tunnels.
Normally in school, it's like, here's this, do this, off you go. But now it's like, blank schedule. Minecraft, yes please.
Well, we fully expect you guys to either add or augment the...
When Microsoft contacted us, asking us if we'd like to develop something in Te Ao Māori for Minecraft Education Edition, what we saw was extremely exciting.
We are so excited that it is now available to every school student in New Zealand.
Minecraft is a universal language. There is barely a kid in New Zealand who hasn't heard of Minecraft. Kids love it. They absolutely adore it. We love it as teachers because of the collaborative opportunity it affords.
How did you guys manage?
Whetu's an innovator. He's seen the potential to use mahi maina to open Te Ao Māori to the rest of the world, changing our world here in Aotearoa, where Te Ao Māori is acknowledged.
You gotta take a risk and a chance.
It's a safe place to make mistakes, and these kids need that. And they will make that mistake. There will be griefing. There will be arguments. There will be turf wars. It's important to give them that space because with that conflict, you also give them the space to work it out.
Things on the outside of that space.
I think under all this talk that we're doing, we're talking about, games and learning like they're two, really separate things. And I think one of the big philosophies that underpins a lot of Indigenous cultures, especially ones that are based around oral history, that things like games and learning are not two different worlds. They're the same thing. And so something like Minecraft, it isn't just a game, or you don't go in it just to learn. They're one and the same thing, right? So you engage with Minecraft, you're naturally learning. It's just one big learning platform.
It's nice to have your own freedom, and there isn't a teacher to tell you what to do and what not to do.
We can't expect them to develop digital citizenship, to be responsible online, kind online, if we're not in those spaces where they can practice.
So I also changed one more block to look like a banana.
That's really empowering, I think, for tamariki, for kids. It's really empowering to give them a space where they can really be who they want to be.
Ko te manu e kai ana te miro, nona te ngahere, ko te manu e kai ana I te mātauranga nona te ao. The bird that eats of the middle berry owns the forest, but the bird that eats of knowledge owns the world. What Whetū has done has given everybody the opportunity to have an insight. I don't think it's just only for our kids, I think it's for everybody. It's to enlighten. The potential is endless.
Awesome. So I shared that today because well, one, as a mother of an 8-year-old, I appreciate that there's a time and place for games, even learning games. So I acknowledge that first and foremost. But I also wanted to share what was possible in Te Ao Māori. And I guess my thinking was, what's next? Is there something that we could do with this audience around a Pasifika Minecraft? I know that there has been discussions in the past with Whetū and Piki Studios. And what they actually did do is they started a project, and part of the building of that Pasifika Minecraft was actually the children building it out themselves. And so my question really is to this audience, is that something we could explore further?
That's a good idea. That is a good idea.
Yeah. So today I just wanted to leave you with a couple of resources. So I'll share this out afterwards. There's exploration in terms of programs, Minecraft, what's available, school showcases, and other resources. And then I've also got some learning resources as well for this audience. So I can share that out afterwards. So really, if you take anything away today, it's we're on a learning journey at Microsoft, absolutely. We're always looking to connect with community and think about how we can leverage the brand of Microsoft for the communities that we're in. And please reach out if you've got an opportunity that you'd like to explore.
Awesome.
That's me.
Thanks, Tess. That's awesome. Thank you, Tess. Is there anyone, we're just going to open up the chat room very quickly. If you've got a quick question for Tess, please ask now. I'll just leave it open.
I'm happy not to take questions.
Yeah. You did say you didn't want to ask questions. Just one question, Tess. Does Minecraft have an AI component in it?
Does
Minecraft education have an AI component in it?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm not sure actually. If it doesn't, it's only a matter of time, but I'll ask.
I'm just thinking about the kids that we work with, and they might need help, and if we ever actually implement their program in a school. But no, it's just good to know. Can you just really quickly describe your journey into Microsoft? Were there challenges that you had to overcome? And because you just spoke about being a Pacific minority within that space, and you're trying to promote, potential careers out there for our Pacific students who might be interested in this?
Yeah, my own journey was an interesting one in the sense that I was at Deloitte, and for those that don't know Deloitte, they're an accounting and tax firm and consulting. And Microsoft at the time, this is in the media, so I'm not sharing anything that's not in the media. We had an ongoing 5-year tax issue. So my first role was to come over and help Microsoft New Zealand negotiate the tax issue that we had. And that was my first role into Microsoft. And once we sort of completed that, then I extended into other roles across Asia and moved into the commercial world. So very tax and accounting heavy first and foremost, but then extended from that. But before that, I guess I was very much in the accounting world, and I've always promoted accounting or technology as pathways. And what I find a lot of the time, or the biggest learning that I've had in my own career, is I've always thought it's been around the technical skills. What are the technical skills that get you from point A to point B and ticking off boxes? But the biggest learning for me was really around people skills. Relationships really matter.
Yeah.
And being able to simplify very complex concepts in a way that resonates with audiences matter too, because you can get bogged down in all this complexity, but being able to elevate the conversation in a way that resonates to the audience has always been something that's helped on my journey. And I never thought, always thought it was the technical answer was the right one, but people skills, relationships matter, being able to articulate things in written or verbal form are really key. And that I think has been a key part of my journey. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Tess. Tess, I've just got a question from James. He says, does the free education MEE access extend to RTLB educators in New Zealand? So I'm guessing to all educators, if you're under the ministry?
So Mike, there is, the ministry has already an agreement with Microsoft, so all educators across New Zealand have access to the Microsoft products. And so I think it's just about unlocking those within your schools. So yes,
Okay.
yeah. At a high
So
level.
they would have to see their IT, whoever their IT person is there. Yep. Okay,
Yes.
cool. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, if there's any other, if there's no other questions, I'm going to hand it over to your sister, to your older sister.
Yeah, much older.
Yeah, the much older sister, Bathsheba.
Thank you, Ben. And not everyone realizes that I'm older than Tess, actually. Just putting that out there. Hey, Tess, thank you so much for
Oh,
your
here we go.
time today. I know that normally you're off around the globe in Australia or America, so for you to actually be able to work with our cluster to present such a high quality presentation has been just wonderful. I want to thank you and acknowledge your work in the Māori and Pacific Island sector. I know that with your role to create positions for leaders to take on those roles has been instrumental, especially here in New Zealand. And I also want to acknowledge some of the tools that you talked about for our learners, those skills of reasoning, the cognitive skills, the critical thinking skills, which are really important for us as RTLB to think about when we're working with children and with families. And I love the way within Microsoft, how you support those spaces for digital citizenship and how that we can create and support that role. I guess my big question for you is, when do we get to meet Trevor Noah? I'm happy to be available to do a presentation with him. But in all seriousness, thank you so much, Tess. And it's quite funny when Tess and I get together to chat about some of our work concerns or some of our successes. I talk about schools and teachers and ministry and government. Her challenges are how much of a discount to give to somebody who's got $1 billion deal. So we come
Yeah.
from very different rich spaces. So Tess, thank you very much for your time today. Really appreciate it. And I probably owe you some free babysitting.
Thank you.
Good on, Bathsheba. Thanks for that. Okay, Tess, you're welcome to join one of the chat rooms if you want to join one of the chat rooms. We'll open it up to you. It's your choice. I'm sure that people have got lots of questions to ask you, like they had with Jerry. So we're going to go to our second breakout room, people.
Hi.
Hi, who's speaking?
Hi, Ben. Oh, it's Deb Williams here.
Oh, hi, Deb.
There was
There you
just
go.
a small.
There you go.
Thank you. There's a small group of us talking. It was amazing having the guru. So I just asked a lot of questions at a really beginner level around AI and just generally around having that specific space in Minecraft. It just opens up a whole world. So I was just excited about future opportunities. I've got two very techie boys at home. So
yeah, no, Brian and I were just talking about. I wonder if game developers will actually include AI in their part of the programming, where players can, or developers, creators can actually turn to AI and say, "Hey, I'm having trouble with this. Can you build something for me?" I don't know. That was a question I opened up to Tess. So no, thanks for that. Thanks, Deb. Anyone?
Kia ora.
Yep, we've got you. Kia ora.
I just wondered, and maybe I missed this, but I know that Tess said there was the free stuff available. But for those of us that are like Google and Mac users, is there a free or a trial version of the Minecraft for Education that we can access?
Tess, are you there?
Yes, I believe there's definitely Ngā Motu, which is available to any user across any school across New Zealand, and I believe the raw version is available as well. So I'm happy to send that to Brian and Ben after this. Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Katie.
I just have a question.
Yeah.
It's Alta.
Alta?
Talofa.
Thank you, Alta.
Yes,
Talofa.
we were just talking and saying that a majority of our schools are using Chromebooks, and I think that's why, we do deflect back to Google, because it is a And I think that's why Microsoft is really used, because they're all on Chromebook. And then the other question was, is this Minecraft available on all devices? Is it specific?
And operating systems, Tess, is that?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe so. Great questions. I wouldn't say that I have the absolute answer, but let me research and come back to Ben and Brian. But I believe so. It's available to all.
Okay. Brilliant. Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks.
Also, we'll send that information out once we get it from Tess. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Anyone else?
Hey Ben, Suze.
Hey
Yeah.
Suze.
Hey. Just from my our group, there was a question about the Te Reo, was it the Te Reo Minecraft? No, but they were just trying to find out how to access that.
Minecraft? Is it the Microsoft Minecraft education version? Is that right? Is that what you're asking?
They're interested in the Copilot with that, but I think someone else just asked about that. And also the Te Reo version, like they were talking about.
Mahi Minor. Yeah, Wendy's just put out Mahi Minor. Tess, can you?
How can we source that?
Yeah, I will send it to Ben and Brian. Oh, Ben and Brian get a big email.
Oh, you've got your homework, Tess.
Yeah.
You got homework to do, mate.
I can send the link to
Awesome.
the Māori Minecraft Ngā and also the Minecraft education. So I can send both of those through.
Oh, fantastic.
And confirm what platforms they're available on. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Tess. Can you purchase the Minecraft cards? So Katie's just asked, can you purchase the Minecraft cards?
Actually, I have a PDF. So I will send that, Ben and Brian, to you as well. The PDF of the cards and the PDF of the actual resources themselves.
Awesome.
So I've distributed them out to the bilingual schools. But I can give you the PDFs and then you can create them yourselves or get them printed as well. So yeah, feel free to use them.
Excellent. Thanks. Oh, and Angeline's just posted a link up there on the chat. So thanks, Angeline, for that. Awesome. Okay. Anyone else? Cool. No. Tess, thanks for that. Really appreciate you coming in today as well.